You have 2 minutes, sir. You may proceed when you're ready. Maybe ask the secretary, the clerk of court, the location of the witness. Where is the witness? Kindly situate the witness at the witness stand. Henceforth, the clerk of court is directed to kindly make sure that if a time is given by the presiding officer, that the witness will already be at the witness stand by that time.
Pumunta pa sa SM.
Kaninong control? The sergeant at arms is directed to be more mindful insofar as the time of the court is concerned in bringing the witness back to the witness stand whenever we go on recess. Attorney Locke, you shall be under the same oath. You may sit down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Senator Judge Tulfo, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, do you consider yourself as an expert when it comes to threat assessment?
Threat assessment, Your Honor?
Yes.
An experienced investigator, Your Honor.
There's a difference between an investigator as opposed to threat assessor. Somebody who assess a threat being given against a person or individual. Kasama dyan, halimbawa, mag-imbestiga ka, tatanong ka sa mga testigo, tatanong ka sa mga taong nakarinig tungkol doon sa banta, titingnan mo yung security detail niya, saan siya nakatira, etc., etc.
Yes, Your Honor. Just an experienced investigator, Your Honor.
As an experienced investigator.
Opo.
So sa ginawa mong pag-iimbestiga, whether or not merong real or imminent threat against the Vice President, sino-sino po yung mga naimbita nyo at na-interview?
Yung media personalities po, Your Honor, from late Saidin Reyes to Bons Magsambol to others, lahat po sila tinanong namin kung kilala nila yung kinausap na ni VP Sara, yung tao na kinontrata. Lahat po sila nagsabi na hindi nila kilala at wala silang alam doon.
Did you also invite Princess Maui, yung influencer na nagtanong kay VP Sara during that online press conference?
I believe so, Your Honor. I asked the executive officers back then at ang sabi nila sa akin, hindi ho nag-appear chief. So
you invited her pero she failed to appear.
yes, Your Honor. Yun po yung report sa akin ng aking mga executive officers.
Okay, so masasabi niyo ba na talagang merong imminent threat, real and imminent threat against the life of the Vice President based on the investigation you conducted?
Against the life of the Vice President, sir?
Yes, Vice President. Kasi siyempre, pag nag-imbestiga tungkol sa Presidente, dapat imbestigan mo rin yung threat against the Vice President para patas.
Yes po. Precisely the reason po, Your Honor, kung bakit ho namin inimbitahan ang Vice Presidente, may separate ho kami na sulat noong December 2. In-inform po namin siya na, ma'am, iniimbestigahan din ho namin yung alleged threat against sa life mo at para ho ma-expedite ito, bigyan niyo po kami ng any information na pwede maging lead doon sa investigation namin. Unfortunately, wala ho kaming na-receive na information. Hindi naman po kasi nag-appear ang Vice President, Your Honor.
Pero nagpadala ba siya ng representative to represent her doon sa sabina ninyo na pinadala sa kanya?
Nagpadala siya po ng representative and then with a letter, sir. In fact, 2 beses po yung letter na yon. Yung unang letter niya, Ang sabi niya, hindi siya makaka-attend kasi nga meron siyang office matters to attend to.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Napakinggan na natin yan para mapaiksi tayo. So, sino yung representative na pinadala niya at ano na pag-usapan ng NBI investigator at saka ng representative ni BP Sara?
I think it's Attorney Paul Lawrence Lim, kung di ako nagkakamali. Ang kumausap sa kanya, Your Honor, yung dating Director Jaime B. Santiago.
What was discussed during that meeting between attorney, ano pangalan ulit?
Lawrence Lim po.
Attorney Lawrence Lim and the people from the NBI, particularly the investigators investigating the threat against the Vice President.
Yun nga, pinapaliwanag lang ho ng abogado, Your Honor, yung laman ng letter kung bakit hindi makakapunta yung Vice Presidente. And in fact, doon sa pangalawang letter, may sinasabi ang abogado na 6 years ago, may threat ang Vice Presidente. So, hopefully confident ang Vice Presidente na iimbestigahan nyo rin yung issue na yon.
So, 6 years ago, pero hindi niyo ba
6 years, 6 months. 6 months yata, Your Honor, 5 to 6 months.
Alright, so
if I'm not
sinabi nung
mistaken,
representative ni VP Sara na 6 months ago, there was a threat against the life of the Vice President.
Yun po yung nasa letter.
Okay, inusisan niyo ba kung ano yung threat na pinagsasabi niya?
Nagkandak ho kami, Your Honor, ng open source. Wala ho kami na-validate, sir, na aside doon sa pag-aalis ng 75 personnel na security personnel from BPSPG,
Okay.
and then inilipat ho sa Manila, wala ho kaming na-validate nor na-confirm.
Wala na-validate. Pero-
Your Honor, insofar ho as Cybercrime Division is concerned, pero hindi ko po alam, baka yung intelligence service namin meron o kaya yung director may alam.
Last na lamang, Mr. Witness. Kasi sabi mo, ulitin ko doon, sa 6 months ago, naka-receive ng threat against her life ang BP. Sabi mo kanina,
If I may,
sabi
Your
ng abogado, right? So, kasi kung ako sa'yo, if I was the investigator, I would say, okay, ano yung threat 6 months ago? Pwede ka bang magpakita ng mga ebidensya? Pwede ka bang makita ng proof or mga witnesses na pwede naman interviewin to that effect? For that?
Your Honor, ang nag-usap po, Your Honor, si the then Director Judge Jaime B. Santiago at saka yung lawyers, Your Honor.
So, hindi ka, okay. Last na naman po. Now, can you say in certainty na talagang wala o meron threat against the life of the Vice President?
I cannot...
Based on your investigation, based on your experience.
Well, given na wala ho kaming validated information at confirmed any data, hindi ho ako makakapag-comment, Your Honor. Kailangan ko po yun.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo, Senate President Gatchalian. Thereafter, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Thereafter, Senator Judge Amy Marcos. You may proceed, Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, narinig ko kanina nung tinatanong kayo ng prosecution na yung statements ni Attorney Zulaika Lopez ay walang kinalaman dun sa threat na ginawa ng Vice President. Tama po ba?
Kinonsider namin siya dun sa totality ng aming investigation. Then nakita namin na even before nung situation ni Attorney Zulaika, base doon sa appearances ng Vice Presidente, meron na ho siyang kinausap. So,
Yan ang next na tanong ko. Ibig niyo ba sabihin na even prior to this video, meron na siyang nakausap na kinontrata?
that's the appearances, Your Honor. Ang sabi niya, huwag kang mag-alala, ma'am, sapagkat may kinausap na akong tao. Ang sabi ko sa kanya, pag namatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Marcos, si former speaker. So, nakita namin, may kinausap na siya. Even before the press conference was held on November 23, 2024.
So base sa kanyang statements, sa inyong pag-aanalytika, meron na siyang nakausap na kinontrata.
Yes, Your Honor, and we believe na hindi naman ho magsisinungaling ang Vice Presidente noon kasi galit na galit nga po siya.
Meron dito sa mga tanong ng counsel ng prosecution na yung mga term na ginamit nyo, serious and real threat, Tapos meron din kayong sinabi na serious and threat is actionable. Nasabi niyo yun over the course ng mga pagtatanong.
Threat is actionable. I don't remember, Your Honor, using the word threat. Actionable threat, Your Honor.
Threat is actual, sorry. Threat
Opo.
is actual. No? So, I take this to mean na meron talaga siyang kausap na kinontrata.
That's what we believe, Your Honor.
And kung yan ang paniniwala nyo, dahil ito ay pagbanta no, sa ating Pangulo, may ginawa ba ang NBI na imbestigahan kung talaga bang merong nakontratang gagawa nitong banta?
Yeah, I think a couple of months ago may binuo ang aming direktor. Nagbuo siya ng task force to investigate threats against the life of the president. Kaya lang hindi na ho ako part noon, Your Honor. July 2025, nalipat na ho ako sa ibang region. So, wala na po akong idea. I think yung intelligence service namin at yung director, yun ho yung pwedeng makasagot, Your Honor.
Actually, yun ang next na tanong ko dahil tayo dito sa ating bansa, sanay tayo sa whole of government approach, whole of nation approach. Dapat merong whole of agency approach, in this case, the NBI. Ang tanong ko, meron ba kayo mismo o kasama ba kayo mismo doon sa pag-iimbestiga ng actual na threat, yung pagkontrata ng tao na pwedeng gawin itong threat na ito?
I believe so, Your Honor. The fact na mayroong binuong special task force.
At kasali kayo doon?
Hindi po ako kasali, Your Honor.
Bakit hindi kayo kasali doon? Ako nagtataka dahil kung banta to sa buhay ng ating Pangulo at nanggaling sa opisina ninyo yung source, dapat kasali kayo.
You mean, Your Honor, since nasa regional office ako, nung nagbuo ng task force, definitely, itatap nila yung mga regional offices. Na meron ba dyan sa region ninyo na information o intelligence na ganito? Meron hong ganong practice, Your Honor.
Pero kayo mismo, kasali ba kayo doon sa nag-imbestiga nung actual, yung kinontratang tao? At meron bang nakitang ganon?
Hindi ko masasagot yan, Your Honor. Ang makakaalam po niyan, yung aming intelligence service kasi nasa 40 po nila yan at ng aming director.
At meron bang ginawang coordination? Kasi ito, Pangulo, no less than our President. Meron bang ginawang coordination kayo o yung binawang task force ng NBI kasama ang nag-coordinate sa NSC, nag-coordinate sa PSG at sa iba pang mga national agencies dahil Pangulo natin to eh.
Opo.
Meron bang ganun na ginawa kayo o yung binuong task force?
Well, insofar as the Cybercrime Division during that time, ang focus ho namin is yung investigation dun sa threat against the life vis-a-vis yung November 23, 2024 utterances. Now, insofar dun sa sinasabi niyo po, Your Honor, ang makakasagot po niyan, yung intelligence service po namin. Kasi ano na po yun eh. Para siyang deep dive intelligence gathering na po yun.
Ang punto ko lang naman is sa ganitong napakahalagang banta, ini-expect ko sa NBI na meron silang whole of agency approach na kasama kayo dahil nanggaling doon yung...
Yes, Your Honor. Yung binuho ng director na memo, nag-create siya ng task force, and then yung task force, tinatap po dyan lahat ng regional offices. Anong information meron kayo iba to dito sa central office?
Anong resulta nun? Last question, Mr.
Well,
Presiding Officer.
in so far as the NBI BARM is concerned, yung hawak ko pong region, meron kaming ongoing investigation pero hindi ho related doon sa kausap ni Sara. Meron kaming iniimbestigahan na nag-threaten sa presidente. As a matter of fact, na-identify namin. So, ongoing pa siya, nag-aantay lang kami ng order galing sa taas kung ano yung guidance. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Noted and entered into the records. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Mr. President, susundan ko na yung kay Senator Win, Senate President.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Witness. So, dediretsuin ko na, no? So, what we're trying to figure out here kasi is, are you really investigating whether my threat kay VP Sara and whether she threatened the individuals mentioned, including the president, or are you only investigating the video and finding kung meron siyang crime? So I asked Agent John Mark Kalilum, hindi daw niya kinausap ang sabi ko PSG, pero PSC na sila ngayon, di ba? Presidential Security Command. So
Opo.
did you speak to the Presidential Security Command about the threat on the President?
Your Honor, in terms of correspondence between the Presidential Security Command at yung NBI, ang makakasagot po niyan yung director. Kasi hindi ko alam kung may usapan po sila. Meron ho kasi kaming tinatawag na need to know basis. Ang focus lang ho namin as...
The problem with your answers, witness, is that kung yan ang sagot mo parati, hindi mo inimbestigahan ng husto.
Hindi ho.
Because you didn't get the information from your intelligence. You did not get your information from the task force. You did not get your information from the Presidential Security Group. Did you talk to the CIDG?
Your Honor...
May you answer first. Did you talk to the CIDG?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Hindi.
But nag-imbestiga din sila, di ba?
I think so, Your Honor, kasi
Yeah.
may statement sila.
So yun din yung tanong nga ng Senate President eh. Kung iniimbestigahan nyo talaga yung buo at kayo ang head at kayo dapat ang mag-imbestiga, bakit hindi nyo kinausap yung mga ibang nag-iimbestiga? Baka may alam sila na hindi.
Yung usapan po na yan, it's a matter of intelligence. Hindi ko alam kung may usapan sila o kung wala silang usapan with the director and with the intelligence service, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll take that answer, but I think at least alam nyo yung nasa isip namin and what we want clarified. Secondly, sir, all of you, yung apat, you signed the February 10, February 2025 NBI Affidavit of Investigation. Tama po ba, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, our affidavit of
Tapos
investigation.
kasama dito yung verification nyo, basically saying that based on the records, tama tong lahat. No?
Verification ng ano po, Your Honor?
Sa dulo, nag-sign kayo ng verification.
Verification of non-forum shopping, Your Honor?
Yes. And
Opo.
that, aside from non-foreign shopping, give me some latitude because to explain the question. We read and understood its contents and the allegations therein are true based on authentic records.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. So may mali ba dito? Factually, wala. Na-review mo naman to, no?
May konting typo dyan, which is
Hindi
normal
typo,
naman, Your Honor.
factual.
So far as I'm concerned,
Sino
lahat
po ba
yun.
nag-prepare?
Ang team po namin with the...
Tapos pinapirma sa inyo?
Hindi ho, kami ho nagtulong-tulong mag-draft ng affidavit of investigation, kung ano yung legal basis namin, and then we agree, and we concluded na ito yun.
Then
ito yun.
someone
And then,
typed it up, then you signed. I asked this because nung tinanong ko kay Agent Mark John Calium, sabi niya, dito nakalagay conditional pero tingin niya absolute. You answered the same thing, it's absolute, pero dito nakalagay conditional.
The utterances itself, Your Honor, is what we called event-based condition, ang classification namin.
Okay.
Yun yung utterances, Your Honor.
I'll take that answer. I think mas factual yun. But sa paragraph 51, was VP Duterte ever Secretary of the Department of Justice?
No, Your Honor, Department of Education.
Nakalagay dito, to recall, VP Duterte resigned as the Secretary of the Department of Justice, and she herself admitted that her relationship with the President has become toxic and she would imagine her strangling him and cutting off her head.
That's typo, Your Honor.
That's not a typo. A typo means yung department naging depart. Department of Justice and Department of Education are two different things.
Ang alam namin, sorry po.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Department of Education ang alam
Yeah.
namin.
So, kasi I just filed my counter affidavit sa ombudsman about yung obstruction of justice. Ilang beses ko kailangan basahin kasi nga, pag may mali, pinirmahan nyo na sinasabi nyo, no? But anyway, going back to the condition, you mentioned the case of SPO2 Hamata.
Yes, sir.
But isn't it true that the lis mota of that case was really res judicata and double jeopardy? Meaning, hindi tinake up ng Supreme Court whether or not a condition.
Yes, sir.
Di ba?
Opo.
Oh, so that wasn't on point. Kasi I was going to ask, is there a difference if the condition is legal or illegal? Di ba? So halimbawa, pag sinabi ko sa yung, pag natanggal akong Senate President, patatanggal din kita. Okay. unang-una, legal naman akong tanggalin na Senate President. We always vote. There's nothing there. But if illegal, o pag pinapatay mo ko, papapatayin din kita. Is there a difference if the condition of why I will act or why I'm threatening you is an illegal act?
Well, under the law, Your Honor, it says there that even the condition is unlawful. So, regardless of the nature of the condition,
Yes.
sir.
No, I want to get lang into your mind when you sign this because nga medyo novel yung case to for me. Even as a lawyer, I have to do more research and see anong ibig sabihin nito grave threats dito because you keep mentioning we keep mentioning here that this is the second highest official in the land and therefore pag trinete niya ang pangulo. But who was the vice president claiming na pwedeng magpapatay sa kanya?
Again, Your Honor, yun po yung reason ba't nag-issue kami ng subpoena.
No,
Gusto po
sa,
namin...
sa reading nyo nung statement niya, sino tinutukoy ng Pangulo na mukhang mag-ooperate sa kanya ng Operation Romanov? Sinong pinagbibintangan niya?
Well, una, kung ang pag-uusapan Romanov, Your Honor, ang alam namin na unang nagbigkas ng Romanov ay si Mayor Baste yata noong January 2024. Other
yes.
than...
That's irrelevant. Ang question ko, in the mind of the Vice President, sinong pinagbibintangan niya na pwedeng magpapatay sa kanya? You said you investigated eh. So mahaba na testimony niyo ni Agent John Mark. So of course, kasama sa investigation niyo, sino sa mind ni Vice President magpapapatay sa kanya?
Well, again, Your Honor, since wala kaming makuhang valid information,
Ano, hindi ba klaro sa video na ang pinagbibintangan niya is the First Lady, the President, and the Speaker of the House? So sabi niya, pag pinatay ako, patayin mo silang tatlo. So ang pinagbibintangan niya na magpapapatay sa kanya, yung tatlo.
I cannot answer to that, Your Honor.
Senator Judge Allen,
Yes.
kindly wind up.
Okay. But you have to be able to answer that because you're the one who investigated. And that is crucial. Why? Because part of your self-defense, so for example, if I know na sa senator judge, pag hindi ako bumoto one way or the other, papapatayin ako ng whatever, chief PNP or papapatay ako ng whoever. So pag sinabi kong, pag ako pinatay, si ganito nagpapatay sa akin. And then, ang difference, I don't usually give a threat na patayin mo rin. So could it be that actually that was the defense of the Vice President para hindi siya patayin?
I don't know the state of the mind of the Vice President.
But you've testified all throughout this afternoon that you went into her state of mind.
Based on the series of events, Your Honor.
Yes, and based on her statement. And her statement and the series of events is nag-away sila ng administrasyon. And the series of events is that sinasabi niya, pag ako'y pinatay, eto tatlo ang papatayin nyo. Okay, last question. Kay Attorney Lopez, tinanong din to ng Senate President ni Senator Tulfo. At di ko na itatanong pero napahapyawan ni Senator Erwin din to yung tungkol kay yung sinabi ni si Attorney Lopez, sabi mo, even before kasi nangyari yon, nakausap na ni Vice President yung papatay.
That's the literal meaning of the statement.
Yes, that's the literal meaning, but did you believe her?
Well, she's the Vice President, sir.
So she also said freedom of expression, so you also believe her?
Not based on the evidence that what we gathered, sir.
No, okay, so I'll stop there but I'll read to you. Sinabi niyo kasi sedition. Pero tignan niyo po yung page 25 nung sarili niyong affidavit ha. Si Princess Maui, ang sinabi niya, ano po ba ang pwede niyong maging remedy para matapos na ito, lalo't nagsisigaw na po ang taong bayan na mag-people power na? So actually, I would consider ang nag-uudyok si Princess Maui. Of course, we can discuss people power, pero tignan niyo po ang sagot niya after yung sa pagpatay. Ang laban ay wala dyan sa EDSA, ma'am. Wala dyan sa mga highway. Ang laban, ma'am, nandun sa loob ng palasyo. Yan ang problema. We appreciate yung expression nyo ng disgust, ang pagkamuhi, ang hopelessness, kasi it reflects kung ano nararamdaman ng maraming milyon-milyon. Alam ko yan, ma'am. Kahit saan ako pumunta, ang sasabihin, binoto namin dahil sinabi mo, iboto namin. So if I look at that statement, parang baliktad. Parang sinasabi niyang huwag kayo mag-people power.
Hindi, actually, kung babasahin po natin yung buo, may sinabi siya doon na natutuwa siya sa ginagawa nila.
Sa ginagawa nila na active nagrarally. Pero sa people power, ito yung exact. But I won't argue with you. I'm just trying to get into your frame of mind.
Yes, Your
When
Honor.
do you believe her and when do you not believe her? And what did you actually investigate?
We based everything on the evidence that we've gathered.
Thank you,
sir.
Presiding Officer. Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Opo.
Thank you, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Senator Judge Marcos, thereafter, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Marcos, you may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And Attorney Lontok,
Yes,
maupay nga pag-abot din
Mapaya
hindi
kulog, ma'am.
ha aton Senado.
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to affirm lang yung sinabi mo kanina na noong nangyari nga itong hating gabi na interview ni Vice President sa Zoom, agad-agad inorderan kayo, in-instructionan ng NBI na mag-imbestiga. Tama po yun.
Hindi po, Your Honor. Sabado po yon, lunchtime, mayroon kaming meeting ako with the then Director Santiago. I think between 12 noon and 1 p.m. And then mayroong instruction na nanggaling kay Delta Santiago na, Jeremy, may kumakalat sa social media, may mga utterances na ginawa ang Vice Presidente. Imbestigahan natin. Since may cyber aspect ito, imbestigahan nyo na. Doon po nagsimula yun.
Tama. So, anong araw yon? Kasi, andito sa inyong affidavit of investigation at yung sinabi ninyo na on even date, ang tinutukoy mo ba yung November 23 din?
November 23, ma'am, kasi natapos ho ang
Oo, gabing-gabi kasi yon di ba?
madaling araw po ng alauna, ma'am.
That's right. So, nag-meeting kayo kaagad-agad? Ganun ba?
Hindi, ma'am, hindi po kasi namin alam yun.
Kailan kayo inutusan na mag-imbestiga?
During lunchtime, nung may meeting kami ni then Director Santiago, pero iba ho ang iniimbestigahan namin krimen.
Kailan kayo sinabihan ng DOJ na mag-imbestiga? Anong araw po
That
yun?
same day, ma'am.
Kaya nga,
after-
November 23.
November
pa rin.
23.
Oo, pareho lang. Yun ang sinabi ninyo kanina nung tinatanong kayo ng counsel ng prosecution. Yan din ang nakasaad. On even date ang nakasabi sa inyong
Opo.
affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, nag-umpisa na kayo. Kwento nga ninyo, four-phase yung investigasyon. Nag-umpisa sa identification. Nagbigay kayo ng hash value. Nag-preserve kayo ng data. Pagkatapos nag-research kayo. Subsequently, sinabi mo na meron kayong open source intelligence search at natuklasan ninyo na meron palang October 18 video na press con na naman ni OVP na nasa Facebook at may mga sinasabi na naman na puputulin yung ulo. Tama ba yon? Yung October 18 ang nakita ninyo?
That's the continuation in the analysis phase, Your Honor.
Oo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kasi nag-research na kayo, no? Bilang fourth phase nga ng inyong investigasyon. Tama po ba?
Hindi po, Your Honor. Yun yung third phase ho, yung analysis and attribution.
Sa analysis pa at attribution. So third phase. Pero bandang huli na. Ang pinagtatakahan ko, kung inutusan kayo ng November 23 na magkaroon ng investigasyon, bakit napakaaga? November 6, 2024, a subpoena was issued to ABS-CBN requiring them to submit an authenticated copy of the video pertaining to the 18 October press con. Nandito to sa affidavit ninyo, nasa page 8, number 14. Kung inutusan kayo noong November 23, ang ibig ba sabihin, November 6 pa lang, minamanmanan na si Vice President? Iniimbestigahan na siya bago pa yung Zoom conference sa Kongreso?
No, Your Honor. I believe that's a typo yung date. Kasi that's a typo, Your Honor, yung date. Kasi makikita doon yung date noong appearance ng taga-ABS-CBN, which is consistent ho siya doon sa ibang inisyuhan
Kailan
ng
ba yung
subpoena.
appearance? Kasi hindi ko nasusundan yung timeline ninyo eh.
Can I-
Parang yung November 23 yung utos, pero November 6 pa lamang, may subpoena na. Ba't nagkaganon?
Typo ho yan, Your Honor. Hindi ho yan November 6.
Typo na naman katulad ng Department of Justice.
No, Your Honor. If I may refer to my notes, Your Honor.
Oo, pakita mo na lang sa akin kasi nahanap ko hindi ko masundan eh.
You may do so,
This is
Counsel.
page 6, number 14 po. November 6, 2024, subpoena to ABS-CBN.
Yung subpoena mismo. The subpoena itself. The subpoena itself.
Wala naman yatang date na binibigay tungkol sa appearance ni Patria Morales at yung iba pang
Meron po,
taga-ABS.
Your Honor, if I
Pakituro lang
have
kasi
the,
hinahanap
record
po
of the
namin.
Subpoena. Yung subpoena mismo.
For information, the time of Senator Judge Marcos is over. Kindly.
Yes, but he's still responding
Of course,
to the
we
same
will wait for
question
the
if you will
response
allow.
first.
Siya po yung matagal, hindi tayo.
We're only counting your the questions that you ask, not the answer. Neither are we counting the waiting time for the witness to answer.
I-check ko lang po, Your Honor, para
Kasi yung mga sumunod na meeting, doon sa page 13, sa number 30, at sa mga sumunod, yung mga tinutukoy doon, yung mga media na nandun sa Zoom conference. Hindi naman siya yung ABS na humawak ng camera noong October 18. Iba naman yung mga tinutukoy doon eh.
Attorney Lutok,
Opo.
the question of the Honorable Marcos is on page 6, paragraph 14. You said you sent a subpoena on November 6, 2024. Unfortunately, because the annexes are not part of the document marked, it's not here. So the question is quite clear. If it's a mistake, then what is the correct date of the subpoena?
If I can see the real subpoena, Your
Kindly
Honor.
talk to the mic, please.
Yeah. If I can see the real subpoena, Your Honor, because the subpoena was signed by our Assistant Director for Investigation Service.
As I said, unfortunately, it was not attached to your affidavit, and I doubt if it's one of those marked or pre-marked
Wala.
by the counsel for prosecutors. As he said and admitted earlier, he did not or they did not mark all of the annexes in your affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may, check ko lang po, Your Honor, para sigurado ho.
Wala sa'yo ngayon.
Inaanap ko po rito.
Wala nga pong annex yan eh.
Wala sa annex at wala rin sa affidavit. Kasi yung mga media na tinutukoy sa ibang pahina, yung mga nag-interview nung Zoom conference.
Dito ho yung certified true copy daw, Your Honor.
If I may, Your Honor, please, can I assist on this regard, if the court will allow?
Only if you can produce a copy of the November 6 subpoena, counsel.
Exactly, Your Honor. The documents are present. They are in the possession at present of the witness, Your Honor, please. They may not have been physically attached to the affidavit investigation, but they do exist in the records of the case as separate pre-marked documents, Your Honor, please.
So
Okay.
it's here?
Presiding officer, then is counsel saying that therefore the affidavit is defective or wrongful, and
With
that
all
November 6 is not the right date? What then is the right date to
With
the
all due
subpoena
respect,
to
Your Honor,
ABS?
please, with all due respect, we object to the use of the term defective.
Counsel, we shall await. Let the
Yes.
document speak for itself.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
If it's there.
The witness is
Yes,
now
it
in the
was the
process.
witness who said that it was a mistake, not me.
No, it doesn't make the entire affidavit of investigation defective.
No, I merely said the date was wrong. Because that's what he said.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just been brought to my attention that, in fact, presiding officer, two documents were issued on November 6. Not only the subpoena to ABS-CBN, but further the affidavit of investigation regarding the October 18 press con. Can we please be clarified as to these two documents which don't seem to appear in the affidavit nor in the annexes provided?
Let's first wait for the witness to answer the first question, Senator Judge Marcos.
Okay.
Yes, Attorney Lotok.
If I may, Your Honor. Ito ho, ang subpoena, Duces Tecom, yung date ho ng appearance niya is December 11.
Appearance po. Ang tinatanong
Appearance.
yung date ng subpoena.
Date
Attorney
ng
Lotok.
subpoena, Your Honor, is 6th day of November 2024, which I believe this is a typo kasi magkakasunod ho ito doon sa mga inisyuan namin na media personalities.
Attorney Lotok, typo na yung affidavit mo? Typo pa yung subpoena?
Hindi po.
What are you
typo
looking
yun.
at? The subpoena or the affidavit?
Dalawa yan eh.
What are you looking at, Attorney Lotok? The
subpoena, Your Honor.
So the subpoena is dated November 6.
Okay.
This-
And the affidavit also is November 6. Dalawang typo carried over.
Asan yung affidavit? Hindi ko pa nakita, ma'am, yung affidavit na November.
Your
6.
affidavit
Ikaw ang
says
pumirma
November
eh.
6.
Pwede patingin ako ng affidavit.
Yung affidavit of investigation mo na binigay, pati
I-check
yung
ko po,
amended, carried over din. Yung first draft na rineject ng DOJ, yung ikalawa, parehong November 6.
Saan?
Pirmado ninyo eh.
Page 6, Counsel, paragraph 14 of his affidavit of investigation.
Yes, Your Honor. It's November 6, 2024 ang nakasulat dyan.
So typo din yan? Is it your testimony na typo din yan?
I believe so, Your Honor. Kasi ang intention namin dyan is 11 December 2024.
Anyway, Senator Judge Marcos, the document will let the document speak for itself. That would be the best evidence of it, if at all, of the dates
Thank you.
of either the subpoena and or the affidavit.
Yes, presiding officer, just to provide our witness a chance to correct himself or the documents, sa palagay mo, ano yung tamang date kung mali yung November 6?
Same ho, Your Honor, doon sa mga subpoena na inisyu namin sa media personalities.
Dapat magkakapareho.
Yes, magkakasunod po yun.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much, presiding officer. Damo nga salamat.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Judge Marcos. Senator Bamakino, and then we proceed to cross.
Your Honor, can we just
Yes,
point out
Attorney
one?
Binloan.
Your Honor, regarding that matter, Your Honor, may we just manifest, Your Honor, for the record that not only in paragraph 14, page 6, does the November 6, 2024 date appear, it also appears on the footnote. Footnote 12, November 6, 2024. So I don't think we just want to read for the record footnote 12, subpoena to Francis Toral, head ABS-CBN News dated 06 November 2024. In addition to that, if you look at the subpoena, and paragraph 14 also is on 06 November 2024, a subpoena was issued to ABS-CBN News. Now, it is actually, it states that a copy of the video pertaining to the 18 October 24 press conference. And when you look at the subpoena itself, can you just ask for time? The subpoena, if you look at the subpoena, there's an attachment, and the photo there contained therein actually pertains to the 18 October 2024 press briefing. So in other words, Your Honor, this is a substantive, this is not a mere typography.
Objection, Your Honor. Counter manifestation. The witness said it's typographical, that you are milking that and say it's
The ma-
substantial.
Just
The
for the record,
manifestation-
just for the record, ito sa
The
manifestation.
That's
manifestation
why a
of counsel for
counter-manifestation.
respondent is duly noted. Insofar as the counter manifestation of the counsel for prosecution, the witness already answered. That is a typographical
Thank you so much.
error from his point of view. Senator Judge Bamakino.
Yes,
Then we proceed to cross.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. So ito po yung continuation po to nung tanong ko kanina tungkol sa general denial tsaka specific denial. Pero bago yon, Attorney Venluan, let me ask Attorney Lotok. Kanina po, tinanong kayo kung bakit nyo tinuloy yung kaso, no? Why you continued with filing. Sabi niyo po kanina, hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling. Siya meaning the Vice President. Could you just quickly tell me, what do you mean by that? Hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling.
Well, the surrounding circumstances, Your Honor, at that time, yung atmosphere, sabi ko nga, galit na galit siya at madiin yung kanyang mga binitawang salita. At ito ay nagugat pa sa mga naunang event. So doon, nung winika niya na wag kang mag-alala ma'am, sapagkat may sa security ko, sapagkat may kinausap na akong tao. From the point of view of the NBI, we believe that...
So you took it as truth?
Yes.
Okay. In succeeding interviews, I'm sure nag-imbestiga ka, meron bang pagtanggi dito sa pagkausap sa isang tao na papatay kung may mangyari kay Vice President Duterte? Meron ba kayong napanood o naimbestiga na pagtanggi nito in the succeeding interviews?
Yes, Your Honor. I think there was a video dated November 26, 2024. Doon sa video na yon, instead na i-deny niya yung nangyari noong November 23, ni-reiterate pa ho niya, Your Honor, in-admit po niya na indeed may kinausap siyang tao.
So inulit pa, kumbaga.
Opo.
Okay. So let me repeat my question to the defense. No, so far, wala pang actual statement si Vice President Duterte na tinatanggi itong pagkausap sa isang hitman. And for the benefit of the public, magkaiba ho kasi yung general denial sa specific denial, no? Ang general denial, hindi ko ginawa yan. Wala akong kasalanan, no? Yung specific denial, hindi ko ginawa ito mismong mga bagay-bagay na ito. Hindi ko yun nakita sa sagot ng depensa. So I asked the defense, is there a denial that the Vice President actually spoke to a person to contract, spoke to a person to kill, you know, the individuals that we're talking about, Attorney Venluan? Sabi niyo meron.
Your Honor,
Could you point us to where it is in your answer?
Your Honor, I just want to clarify because specific denial is a legal term. So in other words, we just want, in order to satisfy the query of Senator Judge Aquino, we will give him a copy of our answer, and we highlighted certain portions thereof, particularly paragraph 3 and paragraph 197 for his
Can you
perusal.
read both paragraphs, please? Because I've also read your, I mean, kami dito, binabasa naman namin yung mga sagot ninyo at siniseryoso namin yan, no? So can you read the two, please?
It reads, the rest of the allegations in the articles, including the supposed evidence attached therein, are specifically denied for being false, misleading, impertinent, mere conclusions of fact and law, and subject to the affirmative allegations and special and affirmative defenses below. And then we
That's Article
enumerated.
3.
Paragraph 3, Your
That's
Honor.
paragraph 3. So the rest, no, itong mga iba. Okay, paragraph 197.
197. It says there, finally, no such purpose contemplated by law was attained or could have been attained precisely because the respondent did not have any purpose other than simply answer a speculative inquiry. So that is our position on the matter.
So your position is that is enough of a specific denial to the allegation na may kinausap na hitman si Vice President Sara.
Yes, Your Honor, because we discussed in our answer that the presumption never shifts. It is in light of our discussion that it is the burden of the prosecution to prove their claim, considering that according to our laws, he who alleges must prove. And so we just presented our arguments accordingly, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm sure, attorney, sa inyong summation, you will argue this, that the burden of evidence has shifted. Pero hindi nyo po na take into account na ito mismo'y galing sa Vice President natin.
Your Honor, to clarify, the burden of proof is with the prosecution and not with the defense. In fact, Your Honor, according to our laws, even if we do not present evidence, if they do not overcome that threshold, Your Honor, then the we believe that our client is
Okay.
entitled to.
So, ang sagot po nyo, and this is my final question, presiding officer, ang sagot po nyo, kailangan i-prove ng prosecution na merong hitman. And you're not denying that the Vice President spoke to a hitman.
No, we are denying that, Your Honor. It's just that that was our presentation and our answer.
Okay, so for the record, you are denying that the Vice President actually spoke to a hitman na, in fact, ang sabi nga ni Attorney Lotoc, hindi siya nagsisinungaling.
Yes,
Sinasabi nyo, actually, nagsinungaling siya at wala siyang kinausap na hitman. Yan
Yeah.
pong sinasabi ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know what's the frame of mind of Attorney Lotoc, but that is our answer, Your Honor.
Okay.
That she denied.
Maraming salamat, Attorney. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Judge Zubiri is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer. Just want to go to the line of questioning continue the line of questioning of Senator Bamakino to the prosecution, Attorney Vinluan. So there is
Defense,
not,
Your Honor.
yes, I'm
Defense.
sorry, defense. My apologies, Attorney Vinluan. Has been no in any instance that the Vice President had come out on TV or radio saying that hindi, joke only, nagkamali ako, nagbobo. Kasi si Tatay Digong nung araw, sinasabi niya yun eh. Sabi, papatayin ko siya. Tapos mamaya, joke only yan. Nagloloko lang ako. Parang ganun. So at no particular point in time, has she issued a denial that she said these statements? Aside from what you submitted to this court as a blanket denial.
There is, Your Honor, and we just reserve our right to present that evidence at the proper time as well, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's a video or recording that was done maybe a month or during the period of time that she had mentioned this, that she was denying, because we'd like to see that as well. That would weigh in heavily on our decision because kung ngayon lang po nagpalabas ang depensa ng denial, parang after the fact na kasi nagkaroon na po tayo ng impeachment trial. We'd like to see that if you have that kind of evidence.
We will provide, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Judge Zubiri. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Alan Cayetano?
I'm not going to ask a question just for clarification. May I just put it on the record?
The gentleman may proceed and he has 2 minutes.
If you look at the articles of impeachment, Article 4, Respondent Vice President Sara Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution, high crimes, and betrayed public trust by contracting for the assassination by the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House by making grave threats and actively inciting sedition against the public. To be fair to the prosecution, I think it was asked of them that merely threatening for you is already, I hope I'm representing it correct, is already impeachable,
Yes, sir.
either high crimes, grave threats, or by culpable violation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But there's a difference between saying that that mere statement is impeachable by alleging that she did in fact contract someone to kill. Because if you look at the next page, it is the position of the prosecution of the House of Representatives. The fact that respondent contracted an assassin no longer requires further proof, as it is already established under the matter of light of her own public admission. That's a conclusion of law. Because it is basic that if someone alleges that someone contracted assassin, you have to prove.
Your Honor.
Diba? So what I wanted to clarify, and
Yes.
to be fair to both sides, you can comment. As far as I'm concerned, ang understanding ko, the prosecution did not stop short by saying that by merely uttering that is impeachable.
Yes.
They went further to say that they are alleging that she did in fact contract an assassin. In fact, nowhere in her words assassin, in the words of the Vice President, was assassin or contracted. Contracted means may kontrata. Sinabi niya lang may kinausap siya. And yung assassin came from, at least on these documents, from them. So I just want to clarify because baka yung manunod, bakit nga naman hindi kailangan i-prove
Yes.
nasabi in public? Those, what I wanted to clarify, those are two different things. Whether the threat as said is an impeachable offense, But if you're alleging that there was an actual assassin contracted, you have to prove that.
Yeah.
As
Your Honor,
far as I'm concerned.
Can I
Mr.
reply
President.
to that, Your Honor, please?
No need to reply. The Senator Judge Cayetano was not asking a question. He was merely making a manifestation for the record. Let's move on, counsel. Counsel for the respondent, if you're ready with your cross, you may proceed.
Attorney Lotok, the NBI is an investigatory body, correct?
Yes, sir.
But unlike the DOJ, it is not a prosecutorial body, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you have investigators and not prosecutors. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in relation to this case, what you did was only fact-finding investigation, correct?
Fact-finding and recommendations, sir.
And recommendation, not preliminary investigation.
Not preliminary.
Because that function is with the DOJ, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the course of your fact-finding investigation, you subpoenaed witnesses, correct?
Yes, sir.
Conducted interviews,
Yes, sir.
gathered evidence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, thereafter, you transmitted the result of your fact-finding investigation to the DOJ, correct?
Our recommendation, sir. Yeah.
Okay. We learned from Agent Calilong last time, just to clarify, that there were two transmittals. Correct? The
Yes,
first
sir.
transmittal was on January 30, 2025, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the benefit of this court, there was a transmittal letter then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can we flash that on the screen? For the benefit of our senators, that is page 7 of the Articles of Impeachment, Annex G9 or GGGG. All right. Now, if you look at the document, this was received by the DOJ also on the same day. So January 30, 2025, correct? Well, it is not clear, but it can be read. If I may be allowed to use a pointer, Your Honor, just to
You may do so, counsel.
it's quite unclear, but actually, if you look at the actual document, it can be read as January 30, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I don't have the documents, sir. May.
Well, we have a hard copy, and I asked my co-counsel to show the document.
Co-counsel may approach.
30. Yeah, hindi siya clear, Your Honor.
All right. Now, this was addressed to Prosecutor General Fadulyon. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And NBI's recommendation was for 1 count of inciting to sedition and 3 counts of grave threats. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, attached to this transmittal letter was your affidavit of investigation. I won't bother to read the body, but it says there that it was attached to that transmittal letter, correct? Because, of course, the transmittal letter won't be empty. It has to contain something, correct?
Your Honor, let the witness, I move that the witness be allowed to answer first before the counsel asks a follow-up question.
Witness will please answer.
I think yung copy ng affidavit is nasa DOJ na, yung first affidavit.
So there was an affidavit of investigation because Agent Calilong also confirmed this last time. So I just want a clarification from you. There was a first affidavit of investigation dated January 30,
Yes,
2025. All right. But we never saw this because it was never released, correct?
I think nasa DOJ.
Nasa with the DOJ.
For purposes of case build-up.
But didn't you keep a receiving copy for your office?
No, kasi meron na kaming copy sa computer
So in
namin.
other words, you have a
Your Honor,
copy of this January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation, correct?
Your Honor, I move that can the witness finish his answer first before the counsel.
You already
Counsel
gave
for
his answer.
respondent, kindly wait for the witness to finish his answer.
We will comply, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Personally, I believe na nandun sa DOJ yung copy and then yung sinubmit sa amin is yung unang certification stating na kailangan yung i-comply itong 7
All right.
requirements.
Okay. Now, there was also an investigation data form attached, correct?
I don't have the copy, Your Honor.
But if you know if there is a investigation data form that was attached to it, correct? Okay. Now, very well. Now, the DOJ thereafter evaluated the case.
Part of the DC-15 requirement, Your Honor.
No, it's a yes or it's answerable by yes or no.
Your Honor, the witness is in the process of answering a question. He is intelligent enough to answer the question.
Let the witness finish his answer.
Part of the requirement of the DC-15 series of 2024, if I'm not mistaken, the circular has directed the prosecutors to proactively engage in the investigation of crimes or in the criminal investigation. Kaya ho yung ginagawa namin nung nag-submit kami nung transmittal, ang purpose ho nun for evaluation ng ating prosecution, at the same time for case build up. So pag nakita ho ng prosecutor na may kulang, part ho ng evaluation saka case build up process, nagbibigay ho sila ng recommendation, NBI, may kulang kang ganito, may kulang kang ganito, hindi pa sa sufficient, i-comply nyo muna to. Part ho yun ng DC-15 requirements.
All right, clear. So in other words, the evaluation is to determine if the recommendation is sufficient or insufficient for the purpose of preliminary investigation, correct? For purposes of case build-up, so that the transmittal or referral would be able to comply the requirements of preliminary investigation. At any rate, preliminary investigation is the next step, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, after the evaluation and case
All
build-up
right.
process.
Can you receive this evaluation or response from the DOJ? Am I right?
You mean the certification, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, the first
No,
certification.
if only you receive.
Your Honor, again. The witness is in the process of answering the question, and the counsel is excited to propound a follow-up question. Let the witness answer first.
Same ruling, same reminder. Witness, kindly proceed to answer.
Again, sir, what was the question?
So you received a response from the DOJ.
A certification dated February 5, 2025.
All right. Oh, no. That's not my question. But anyway, let me direct your attention to a certification issued by the DOJ through Senior Assistant State Prosecutor J.V. Lawrence B. Bandong and approved by Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Herbert Calvin P. Abugan, dated February 5. For the benefit of this honorable court and the Filipino people watching, this is Articles of Impeachments Annex G9 as well, pages 10 and 11. May we ask that the witness peruse this certification? Just a manifestation, Your Honor, Annex G9 is actually not numbered. So pages 10 and 11 was based on the PDF file or the soft copy, but the hard copies are not actually numbered.
Noted.
So, Mr. Witness, was this the response from DOJ following your January 30, 2025
Yes, sir.
transmittal? So this certification contained the DOJ's evaluation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And-
Part of the requirement
Wait,
of DC-15.
again, the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same.
Your Honor.
The witness still answering. Let the witness answer first before propounding the next question.
And the NBI received this February 5 certification, correct?
Yung copy ko, Your Honor, hindi ko makita yung date.
Oh, I'll help you. There is a note received on the upper right that is unclear. Can we flash that on the screen as well? It is unclear, but it appears to have been received on February 5, 2025, correct? So more or less 6 days after transmittal. Do you confirm this?
Your Honor, before the witness answers the question, I would like to
Yes,
commence
counsel.
my objection on the ground of relevance. May I explain, Your Honor, please? This witness testified that what they filed with the NBI, with the DOJ, is a February 10 affidavit investigation. And here comes the defense now asking questions as to the first affidavit of investigations that the NBI submitted, which the DOJ asked them to correct and to provide additional information, which they complied with. And what is now at issue is the February 10 affidavit investigation. That's why I'm now objecting on the grounds of relevance.
Your Honor.
What's the wait, let me finish. What's the point of digging into a prior affidavit investigation when what this witness testified to, when what this witness identified is a later affidavit investigation that is now being considered by the DO? The question is simple: what's the relevance?
Objection is overruled. It goes into the credibility of the witness as well as his ability to testify as to his investigative report. And witness is competent enough anyway. Witness may answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, we received that letter on 10 February 2025 based on the second letter submitted to Honorable Richard Anthony D. Fadulion, signed by Judge Jaime B. Santiago, states here that on 10 February 2025, this Bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025, where the evaluating prosecutors referred the case for case build-up, citing reasons thereof.
Then in that case, Your Honor, we have a problem because this is
Oh,
part...
Your Honor, objection.
Your Honor, I'm not yet...
Objection.
Kindly let counsel finish.
Because like, as I mentioned a while ago, Your Honor, this forms part of the records of this honorable court. This was submitted as page 10 to 11 of Annex G9. This is part of the court's record, and we also received this. These are not our documents.
That's why I'm objecting,
These are
Your
the
Honor.
prosecutions. I mean, the
Counsel for the
prosecution's
prosecution,
documents.
kindly let him finish.
These are not our documents, Your Honor. These are part of the records of the court. This came from them, and they attached this to the articles of impeachment. Your Honor, we have all the right to confront each and every document because that forms part of the charge against our client.
Counsel-
Now, if Attorney Lotok is saying, Your Honor, if I may just be allowed to
This is now
finish,
a manifestation, Your Honor.
that it was received on February 10. We just want to counter-manifest, Your Honor, that there is a received stamp here, says February 5.
Your Honor, this is not highly...
Counsel, the presiding officer already overruled the objection of counsel for the prosecutors. And I thought you would end up with a question. Kindly proceed with your cross-examination.
So in other words, you deny that it was received on February 5, 2025 as seen here in this document that is part of the records of the Senate Impeachment Court.
Well, first, Your Honor, hindi ho ako yung nag-receive niyan. Then pangalawa, ang nakapirma ho rito ang dating director namin, Jaime B. Santiago, at ang sinasabi niya, on 10 February 2025, this Bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025.
All right. Anyway, I'll move on to a new point. This certification noted 7 items, and we went through this the last time with Agent Kalilong, so I won't delve on that. But basically, just to go through this very quickly, the first point says that there is no affidavit of the person, so no affidavit. The second point is, or the second note is the press briefing conducted on October 18, so no TSN and affidavit of the person taking the TSN. Number 3 is annexes I and K with marking, so no affidavit of recorder and no TSN and affidavit. Number 4, Annex L did not indicate who made such TSN, so incomplete information. Number 5, the affidavit of Juan Patria Morales, so no USB. Number 6, only the minutes of the meeting with several so no affidavit. But I'd like...
Oh, Your Honor, that's my objection now.
I'm just reading
Where's
it, Your
the
Honor.
question?
Wait for the question.
Kindly
Okay,
wait
there's
for
a
the
question.
I'm going to the
counsel.
question. I'm just
Thank
laying
you.
the basis, Your Honor. Now, I'd like to highlight note number 7. Please allow me to read that portion, or at least the latter portion thereof. It says there, in the instant complaint, only the NBI executed an affidavit and there was no participation on the part of the offended parties. As it appears, NBI is not the offended party for the crime of grave threats. My question is this. So based on note number 7, according to the DOJ, the NBI is not the offended party, correct?
Based on number 7, NBI is not the offended party for the crime of grave threats.
Okay, very well. So the offended parties, if at all, are President BBM, the First Lady, and the former Speaker, correct?
Yes, sir.
At any rate, all these, the 7 notes that I mentioned, are all deficiencies in the first affidavit of investigation, correct?
It's not deficiency, Your Honor, because the first affidavit we've submitted is substantial in terms of
Substantial.
establishing the evidence required. This requirement is a matter of complying the required quantum of evidence required under DC-20. And if I may, sir, the purpose of submitting our referral to the Department of Justice is for preliminary investigation, which under the NPS rules, the new rules under the NPS, the law enforcement agency can submit a complaint affidavit, or in fact, submit a complaint before the DOJ for purposes of preliminary investigation. The requirement that the offended party should have that complaint affidavit is not an indispensable requirement, and so far as the preliminary investigation is concerned.
Very well. Now, based on that answer, I'd just like to point your attention to the portion of this certification dated February 5, 2025, next to the box ticked with an X. Kindly allow me to read, if we can highlight that portion. Okay. It says here, and you can read with me, insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation and must first be referred for case build-up. So in Filipino, this is my question, I'll do it in Filipino. So in other words, nakulangan yung DOJ, correct?
For purposes, Your Honor, of satisfying the elements, the required quantum of evidence, the DOJ required us to attach the affidavits and other documents like the TSN, sir.
Thank you. And the DOJ itself mentioned this, correct? Or said this, correct?
Based on the certification.
All right. In fact, let me direct your attention to the portion after, I quote, must first be referred for case build-up. Can we flash that also on the screen? And allow me to read. The complaint/referral does not contain all the necessary evidence to prove the essential elements of the crime. Therefore, it is recommended that the same be first referred for case build-up. Okay? Now, let me get this straight. I'll summarize first and then I'll ask the question. So, the subject incident happened on November 23, 2024, and the NBI conducted fact-finding investigation, as you said. You subpoenaed individuals, conducted interviews, gathered evidence, among others, as you said also, and the NBI spent over 2 months or until January 30, 2025 for this process. Is this a fair summation of what we had just discussed?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
You don't agree. And yet, when the NBI transmitted the case to the DOJ on January 30, 2025, the DOJ found it to be insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation.
Objection, Your Honor. Continuing objection as to this series of questions as to the prior affidavit investigation, which was corrected in a February 10, 2025. Continuing objection, Your Honor.
The continuing objection is noted. Same ruling by the court. Witness may answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The fact that the Department of Justice
That would be
issued
enough.
another
That would be enough. Yes,
certification.
sir.
Kindly let the
All right.
witness finish.
We will
counsel.
comply, Your Honor.
Are
The
you
fact
done,
that the
Mr.
Department of
Witness?
Justice issued another certification on February 14, 2025, and it states here that the referral is sufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and that it contains all the necessary evidence to prove the essential elements of the crime and should be docketed for preliminary
With the
investigation.
permission of the parties, Attorney Latok, that's the second certification. that
Yes
you're
po,
speaking
Your
of.
Honor. The second certification.
Counsel for the respondent.
Yeah, we
please.
will go to that. In other words, based on this certification, the DOJ did not affirm the NBI's recommendation, correct?
No, part of the process of evaluation and case build-up, the DOJ require us to comply with the requirements na hinihingi nila, gaya ng mag-attach kayo ng affidavit, mag-attach kayo ng TSN, pero wala hong sinabi ang DOJ doon na hindi substantial yung aming affidavit. Ang require lang ho nila, mag-attach kayo ng yun nga, yung affidavit na na-record yung video, at then yung TSN, sir.
Well, according to you, but we just
Oh,
read
no, you're
that it was
argumentative.
insufficient. Your
Objection,
Honor,
argumentative.
Asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
okay, that's interesting because there was a 2025 impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. If you know.
But again, Your Honor, what?
The date is important because there was also a February 5, an impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. Correct?
Hindi ako familiar.
You're not familiar. That's okay. If I may refresh your memory, this was the fast track 2025 impeachment complaint signed by the
Objection, Your
215
Honor.
representatives.
If a ground arises, a counsel can object. The term fast-tracked,
Oh, Your Honor.
you are labeling a process made by House of Representatives as fast-tracked. Objection, Your Honor, please.
Counsel, move on and ask your question.
If you know, if this coincides with that impeachment complaint that was signed by the 215
Objection, Your Honor.
representatives.
There's no basis. This counsel,
If you
this
know.
witness, again, already said that he is not aware that on that day there was an impeachment complaint. There's
Counsel-
no basis for that question.
Counsel witness already answered. The counsel for prosecutor is correct. Witness already answered. He's not familiar with the filing of an impeachment complaint on that date.
At any rate, this
Move on.
pertains to the November 23, 2024 video, correct?
Objection, vague, Your Honor. What's the question? Referring to a video. Objection, vague.
Kindly restate your question, counsel.
The complaint. The complaint that was filed against the Vice President also pertains to the November 23, 2024 video.
Objection,
If you know.
again, vague. Complaint filed on that date.
Well, if he knows, he already answered. He doesn't. Who knows? He might all of a sudden recall. Do you know? Are you familiar with that, Mr. Attorney Lotok?
I said, Your Honor, hindi ako familiar nung filing nung sa impeachment.
Yeah.
You're not familiar. Okay, I'll move on to a new point then.
Move
now,
on, counsel.
Now, did you rectify your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation?
January 30.
January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation. In short, the first affidavit of investigation.
We complied with
You
the
complied.
requirements of the Department of Justice.
All right. Did anybody ask you to rectify?
What do you mean, sir?
Microphone. Use the microphone.
What do you mean?
Did you receive any directive from anybody to rectify that affidavit of investigation?
Objection, argumentative. The question was asked. He said we complied, and then he's now asking the
I'm
same
asking
question.
who? I'm asking if there is another person who directed you to satisfy the requirement.
Overruled.
withdraw,
Witness
withdraw.
will answer. Witness is an intelligent witness. Aside from the fact that he's a lawyer,
Your Honor, when we received the certification dated 05, February 2025, ito ho yung kinumply namin.
All right. And you added affidavits executed by your agents, correct? To your revised affidavit of investigation, correct?
No, we didn't revise the affidavit of investigation. We just produced the affidavits of the fact that the video was recorded and there was TSN. Yun ho yung in-attach namin sa affidavit of investigation.
So you are denying that you produce a revised affidavit of investigation?
Well, when you say kasi revised affidavit, binago namin yung affidavit namin. Hindi ho namin binago, Your Honor, yung affidavit namin. Nag-require ho ang Department of Justice, kulang kayo ng affidavit as to the fact na nirecord nyo yung video, kulang kayo doon sa affidavit kung sino nag-execute ng TSN, etc. But not the substance ng affidavit, Your Honor.
All right, I'll go back to the point later, but let me highlight one very important observation. Okay, your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation included a transmittal letter, as you said, as well as in an investigation data form or IDF. Correct?
Wala akong kopya dito, sir.
You don't have a copy. Okay. In fact, let's show that IDF. Page 12, this is page 12 of Annex G9 for the benefit of this honorable court as well. Okay, this is an investigation data form. You're very familiar with this document because you're an investigator, correct? Now, this was
Kindly wait for the witness to answer.
he
Are you
nodded his
familiar?
head.
Yeah, investigation data form, sir.
Okay.
Opo, Your Honor.
All right. So, in other words, the IDF serves like a cover letter for your affidavit of investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the transmittal letter, along with this IDF, was received by the DOJ, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, sir.
All right. Now, my question is this. Was the investigation data form also received by the DOJ?
I don't have personal knowledge.
You don't have, but you were the one who caused the filing of the affidavit
No, I-
attached to this
I-
affidavit of investigation data
I
form,
instructed
correct?
the agent on case as well as the executive officer na pagkumpleto na, pwede ninyo nang i-file yan sa Department of Justice for purposes of evaluation and case build-up if warranted, sir.
Okay. But here, upon perusal of this investigation data form, there is a stamp received in the upper left portion of this data investigation form. And I'd like to note, Your Honor, and for the benefit of the court, can I ask my co-counsel also to distribute among the senator judges a printed copy so that they can peruse this document better, as well as the witness, so he can confront. There is a stamp Department of Justice received, but it appears that it was initially stamped February 12, 2025, but there is a marking, a manual marking that converted it to January 30. And there is also a word there, JAN. So January 30 ang lumabas, no?
Okay.
My question to you is this. The stamp says Department of Justice, correct?
Well,
No, it's-
wala
it's-
akong hawak na document ko,
You
Your
can
Honor.
perceive it.
Kung-
And
kung
mind you,
yung-
these are not our documents. These are part of Annex G9 of the Articles of Impeachment. So these are not our documents.
Your Honor, I would like to object now. The witness already said that he is not aware as to the actual filing because he only asked his agent on case to investigate. And then now the witness is now being propounded to question as to what appears on the stamp as to the time or date of receipt by the DOJ. So the witness said he is not competent to answer that. Your Honor, please. Oh, wait, I'm not done. That's the first one. Your Honor, please. No need for the court to rule, but I am registering my continuing objection to this series of questions as to the prior affidavit of investigation, when in fact, this witness already said that he complied with all the requirements by the DOJ and came up with a February 10, 2025 affidavit investigation. So I move that it be noted, Your Honor, please. The
The
continuing
continuing
objection.
objection of counsel for the prosecutor is noted, but counsel, as pointed out by counsel for the respondent, this is part and parcel of the complaint
Yes. ma'am.
that the panel of prosecutors filed before this court. If the witness knows, he may answer.
So the question is, the SAM says Department of Justice, correct? It's a very basic question.
Again, I don't know, Your Honor.
No, based on this document,
Argumentative, Your Honor.
the only question is, it says Department of Justice, correct?
As I've said, Your Honor, hindi ho ako ang nag-file. May inutusan ho ako.
Do you see it in the screen
Oh,
and do you
Your
see it
Honor,
in
the
the hard
witness-
copy?
Counsel asked and answered, move on. That's
Okay.
the response of the witness.
So, will you agree that considering that this was supposed to be received by the DOJ, it is only the DOJ that has the authority to change the date?
Again, you asked the DOJ, sir. Wala ho akong
Exactly.
idea dyan.
All right.
Counsel for the prosecution, kindly avoid.
All right, but
side
this
remarks.
is not from the DOJ. This is your copy. This is a receiving copy. So when you receive back your receiving copy, you did not bother checking this portion?
Your Honor, hindi ako personally nag-receive niyan.
But this is your affidavit of investigation.
Objection argumentative, Your Honor. Ask and answered.
Asked and answered, move on, counsel.
All right. My question to you now is this. The discrepancy is not 1 day or 2 days. The discrepancy is from Feb 12 to January 30. So it is a substantial discrepancy. My question to you is this. Who changed this
Objection.
date? If you
Objection,
know,
Your
if
Honor.
you know.
That's misleading, Your Honor. My goodness, that's misleading. This council is assuming that somebody changed what? The council failed to elicit any answer from this witness, and now the council is conceiving that somebody changed that and confronting our witness with that. Misleading. This is the classic case of a misleading question.
Counsel-
You assume something that has yet to be established. That's not how we do it, with all due respect.
Council for Respondent, I think you made your point and you gave a copy to the senator judges, and we see your point.
All right.
One.
But my more important observation is this.
Objection, Your Honor, please. You are supposed to ask questions. and
Yes,
not
I will.
make
I will go to the
Kindly-
question. I will go to the question.
Kindly allow counsel for Respondent to finish his question. He may just still be laying the basis. You may
Thank you,
proceed,
Your Honor.
counsel.
That's precisely
for
what
Respondent.
I'm doing, Your Honor. Can I direct everyone's attention to the date appearing at the bottom portion of this document?
Well,
It says
counsel,
here-
counsel, technically not everyone, just the witness.
Yes.
And let's see if the witness can answer your question.
It says here February 11, 2025. So in other words, it was and it says here subscribed before NBI agent Ricarte. In other words, the date of the document is February 11, but it was received on January 30, 2025 by the DOJ. Do you have any explanation for this? That's the
Objection,
question.
Your Honor. Objection. This witness is incompetent to attest to that exactly because he said he is not aware of this series of facts. I know where the counsel for respondent is going. Unfortunately for him, his line of argument was already nipped in the bud when this witness said he is not aware of that. He should move on to other points.
Your Honor, the witness said that the investigation date, this investigation data form was attached to the original affidavit of investigation. And we want an explanation why there is a discrepancy on the date. The witness is a lawyer.
Exactly.
He has
that's
an
the point.
experience, Your Honor, in filing cases. We just want to know, Your Honor. We want to get to the bottom of this
I am
matter.
object to that. I have to
If-
object to
Considering
the
also,
witness-
Your Honor, that this is about transparency.
Will the parties please settle down? If the witness knows,
Yes.
Attorney Latok, do you know? Can you explain the discrepancy, or are you personally aware of the discrepancy?
I cannot explain this, Your Honor. Unang-una, hindi ako nakapirma dito, hindi ako nag-receive. At wala akong ideya dito sa...
But Attorney Latok, you see the point that the counsel for respondent is trying to make, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That the
But,
date of receipt was changed to 1/30, January 30, but it was subscribed to on February 11. Meaning,
But-
you see it, but you have no personal knowledge how that came about.
yes, Your Honor. I don't have...
Move on, counsel.
So, doesn't this demonstrate that that the document was
Allow
tampered
counsel to
with?
finish.
Doesn't this demonstrate, if you know that this this document was tampered with, does
Objection,
that
Your Honor.
demonstrate
Exactly. He's now arguing with our witness, Your Honor.
Sustained. Move on, counsel. Move on to your next topic, counsel.
that? Your Honor, but you agree, Attorney Lotok, that the IDF is not a simple cover letter, correct?
Ask and answered, Your Honor.
Okay, in fact, it is an affidavit, correct?
Yeah.
An IDF is an affidavit, correct?
An ID... I don't think so, Your Honor. It's not an affidavit, Your Honor. It's
The investigation data form.
not an affidavit.
So you don't agree. So in other words, this certification part here, and with the subscribed and sworn to, it is for you. This is not an affidavit.
Argumentative, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I just
Objection,
I just made my
argumentative.
question more specific, Your Honor. There is a part here, subscribed and sworn to, and the witness is. I want to ask the witness if he considers this document as an affidavit despite this portion. What's the answer? Is it an affidavit or
Attorney
not?
Latok, is this sworn to? Is this document sworn to? The what's the title of the instrument again? Can you go up?
Investigation data form, Your Honor.
Is an investigation data form subscribed and sworn to by the person filing it? To your knowledge.
Yes, Your Honor. There is subscribed and sworn to before this 11th day of February and signed by the administrating officer.
Okay.
And as law practitioners, we know that when we file a case before the office of the city prosecutor, this actual page is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor,
Your
correct?
Honor, again.
If you know, you are a lawyer
Continuing
and you are
objection
a
as to-
supervisor
If
of
I
your
may.
department. I'm just asking a basic question.
I am now-
As a law practitioner, as a lawyer, you know that this IDF is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor when you file a case, correct?
If I may objection, Your Honor, continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of
Noted,
questions.
same
Your Honor, please.
ruling. Witness may answer if he knows.
Again, Your Honor, before the prosecutor?
Correct. In normal cases, the IDF is subscribed and sworn to before the public prosecutor, correct?
Well, in this case, Your Honor, it was administered by AD Assistant Director Glenn Ricarte, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm glad you pointed that out. Isn't Ricarte from the NBI?
Yes, Assistant Director po siya.
In other words, this is a DOJ document, but you made your subscription before an NBI agent. Isn't that supposed to be before the DOJ agent?
But again, wala akong personal knowledge dyan sa details na yan, sir. Siguro tanungin nyo kung sino ho yung naka-affix ang signature.
All right.
dyan, sir.
But what is worse, if I can
Object-
direct
Your Honor,
your...
objection. Another objection, Your Honor. You know, this council is in the habit of inserting,
Your Honor,
adding value
if we
to
may
what is otherwise.
Just be allowed to continue, Your Honor. This is our time. We've given them enough
Counsel
leeway, Your
for the
Honor, after more than
prosecutors,
hours.
Let him lay the basis of his question.
Yes.
All right. Can I direct your attention to the upper right portion of this IDF? It states docketed 3/7/2025, and there is a docket number XVI-INV-25C-00048. Again, this is not with the source of this document is not the DOJ. This is your receiving copy, correct? In fact, this was part of the subpoena documents which you sent to the House of Committee on Justice, correct?
Objection. Compound questions. 2 questions.
Okay, I'll
Kindly reform, counsel.
so, all right. My question is this, okay? So, do you confirm that there is a marking on the upper right which says docketed 3/7/25, and there's a docket number assigned?
In this document, sir, yes.
All right. We manifest, Your Honor, that this is still the same Annex G9. So in other words, you're telling this court that this document was subscribed on February 11, 2025, received on January 30, 2025, and docketed on whatever it is, July 3 or March 7, 2025. Is that what you're saying?
That's compound. That's compound. You're asking 2 dates and asking for 1 question.
No, Your Honor, I just described the document
Exactly.
as it
Compound
is.
question. Ask 1 question per date. That is exactly the genius why we don't allow compound questions. You're asking 2 questions and asking this witness to answer once. That's dangerous. That's
Counsel,
compound
it's so,
question.
counsel, presiding officer will clarify the matter. Questions were earlier asked already with respect to the February subscription and the January 30 receipt. Insofar as the docketing is concerned, do you see the numbers and or dates 3/7/25, Attorney Latok?
Yes, Your Honor, in this document, there is number 3/7/25.
And for clarity, NPS docket means National Prosecution Service.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Opo. Yes,
So
Your
it's a
Honor.
docket of the National Prosecution Service.
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed, counsel.
All right. So now I'm showing you pages 169, 168, 169 also of Annex G9. This pertains to the affidavit of Agent Kalilung, which is an attachment now to the revised affidavit of investigation. You added this document to rectify the January 30 affidavit of investigation, correct?
Again, sir?
You added this document in order to rectify the January 30, the first affidavit of investigation, correct? And we will confront you with the document. Again, these are not our documents.
The document was signed by Agent Mark Kalilong and subscribed and sworn to before Attorney Van Homer Angluben. Sir.
Okay. So in other words, I just want to take a look on the date. Can we flash the date? So when you received the February 5 certification from the DOJ, you executed this, and it was February 10.
Objection.
correct?
No,
I'm not the one
that's
who
now
executed
misleading.
it.
That's misleading. It's Agent Calilo who executed that, and then you're asking you executed that. That's misleading.
No,
It's clear
but-
on the record.
But this is part of the revised affidavit of investigation, which
Objection,
this witness
revised.
co-signed.
The
If he
witness
knows-
already said
if
that
he
they
knows.
did not revise it. They just complied. Misleading, Your Honor.
Oh, you want to
Misleading.
go? Okay, since the,
Counsel, kindly settle down. The question, Attorney Lotok, is did you add, in order to comply with the DOJ requirement, this affidavit signed by Agent Kalilong? And is the date February 10? Meaning in compliance with the DOJ observation, is this one of the affidavits that you added? And is it dated?
Although I don't have my record, it appears so, Your Honor, based on the document shown to me by the counsel.
Both as to the fact that it was one of the affidavits added and as to the date, Attorney Lotok.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All
Go
right.
on, Counsel.
I am showing you another affidavit. This is page 178, 179 of Annex G9. This now pertains to the Geran affidavit. This was also an attachment to the revised affidavit of investigation.
Objection
correct?
again, Your Honor, please. The continuing use of revised, when this witness already said that they did not revise anything, they just complied with the requirement. That's now misleading.
Your Honor, just
many times over, misleading.
All right, just to put this issue at rest, Your Honor, I'm confronting the witness with a letter to Richard Anthony D. Fadulion dated February 11, 2025. And I want to read, Your Honor, the last paragraph thereof. It says, to support our recommendation, attached herein is the revised affidavit of investigation. This is not our document. This is the NBI's document. Can Attorney Lotok be confronted with this document, please?
It
Attorney
was signed.
Lotok, please answer.
Yes, Your Honor. It was signed by then Director Judge Jaime B. Santiago.
Can you confirm the last sentence for the record? Can you read it for the record?
To support the recommendation, attached herein is the revised affidavit of investigation, including its attachment.
Can you repeat the word before the word affidavit of
Ask and
investigation,
answered,
please?
Your Honor. Ask
Asked
and
and
answered.
answered. So,
Then I'm not misleading after all. Anyway,
Objection, Your Honor. That's an unnecessary statement. Counsel is supposed to ask questions and not make these remarks.
counsels, kindly settle down. We're about to wind up the day.
all right. I'm showing you now pages, proceed, 178 to 179 of the revised affidavit of investigation. Can you be confronted with that document? The date is February 10, 2025. I just want to confirm the date if that is correct. As it
Date-
appears from the document.
As it appears here, 10th day of February 2025.
Oh, very well. I am showing you now pages 187 to 188 of Annex G9, also a Kalilong affidavit, which is an attachment to the revised affidavit of investigation. Can we flash the date of that document?
What's the question?
Also February 10. So in other words, you attach this to your revised affidavit of investigation.
It appears here, 10th day of February 2025, sir.
And you attached it to your affidavit of investigation, correct?
As an attachment, sir.
All right, very good. Now, showing you 199 to 200 of Annex G9. Now, this is the Asuncion affidavit. And I'll make a point in a couple of questions, Your Honor. Can you just confirm the date also and if it was attached to your revised affidavit of investigation?
10th day, it appears here, 10th day of February 2025.
All right. So it was attached also to your revised affidavit of investigation.
Assumption. Yes.
All right. Now this is the question. I'm showing you now page 112 of Annex G9, another Kalilong affidavit. Did you also add this to rectify your January 30 affidavit of investigation or or the first affidavit of investigation? We have here a soft copy, affidavit of transcription. Was this also a document that was lacking in your first affidavit of investigation, which you added to your revised affidavit of investigation?
Again, Your Honor, registering my continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of questions that is consuming the entirety of the defense's turn to cross-examine this witness. What's the relevance?
Noted. Same ruling. Witness may answer.
Again, Your Honor, the
Was this also part of the revised affidavit of investigation to rectify the defects that we highlighted a while ago?
no, there was no rectification. There was no defect. Again, this is part of the compliance given us by the Department of Justice for us to comply.
All right, if you want to use that term. So in other words, after you received the Feb 5 certification, this was also one of the documents that you attached to your revised affidavit of investigation. Correct?
I believe so. Part of the compliance,
All right.
sir.
My issue is this.
Oh.
Let me direct your attention to the bottom portion of this affidavit. It says here, in witness hereof, I have, can you zoom that in? I can't read it. The date is February 3, 2025. Can you zoom that in? So in other words, you are trying to convince this court that when you
What's the question? What's the question?
this is the question. Are you trying to convince this court that you executed this affidavit prior?
Objection, misleading.
He did not execute
not.
the
No,
affidavit,
sorry. You attached this affidavit prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification?
Prior to what, Your Honor? February 10?
Okay. You receive a certification on February 5, 2025,
Yep.
correct? And you said that you added affidavits after receipt thereof. Now, you mentioned a while ago that this was one of the affidavits that you added, and yet the date came prior to the DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I think ang makakasagot po niyan si Agent Calilong, Your Honor, kasi may mga attachment na kami during the first affidavit na na-include na doon sa mga nire-require ng prosecutor na nandun na. And then nung nag-issue ang prosecutor gaya po ng number 2, the press briefing, sige muna. Ito, Your Honor, gaya ng number 1, there is no affidavit of the persons who recorded the video entitled BP November 23 Press Con at Batasan through OBS. When in truth and in fact, kasama ho na and attached na doon yung affidavit of authentication doon sa unang affidavit.
So in other words, you're telling this court that the DOJ made this mistake? That there was no...
Not necessarily, Your Honor. Pwedeng hindi nakita ng prosecutor na naka-attach na yun.
Hindi
Kasi
lang
nandun
nakita.
po sa date na January 30 yung execution ng affidavit of authentication.
Your Honor, if before we continue, Your Honor, I'm noticing something, Your Honor, please. The defense is in the process, has been presenting portions of an alleged document, and they're making notes. Oh, I don't think that's proper, Your Honor. When you present a document, you present the document as is. You don't make annotations.
Exactly, Your
Note
Honor.
number 2, that's not proper, Your Honor.
We are presenting the actual document and we're confronting it. This is just to address, Your Honor, what was intimated by the senators that they want to be able to follow the discussion, Your Honor, using the screen.
If I may, my problem with that, Your Honor, please, because it's like you presenting your observation on a document and you're showing that to the court when what you're supposed to do is just to confront this witness with a document without any annotations. That's just my observation, Your Honor.
Noted. Counsel, please proceed. For respondent, please proceed.
Meaning, but if you go to the contents, right, it says here, and let me read, the press briefing conducted on October 18, 2024 was not recorded and or stored in a DVD. No video submitted and there was no TSN of the said briefing. And do you confirm now that this note on Feb 5 was actually addressed by the affidavit submitted by Agent Calilo?
What? Come
But
again, sir?
this note was satisfied by the submission of the affidavit by Agent Calilo.
What affidavit, sir?
The affidavit of transcription dated February 3.
But can I see the affidavit, sir?
Yeah.
Para lang sure.
The one that we showed a while ago. It pertains to the same because if you read here, if I may be allowed to read paragraph 1, can you zoom that in? Or no, paragraph 2, it says there, in relation to the ongoing investigation, the undersigned was tasked to transcribe. So this transcribed the screen-recorded video of the press conference of VP Sara on 18 October 2024. So in other words, this was exactly what the DOJ required, correct?
Yeah, base certification na in-issue, ang sabi ng DOJ, the press briefing conducted in October 18, 2024 was not recorded and was stored in a DVD. There was no TSN of the said briefing and the necessary affidavit of the person taking the TSN.
And yet, on its face, this was, because the date is February 3, on its face, this was executed prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification, which noted this requirement.
As I've said, Your Honor, ang nag-uusap po dyan ang prosecutor at saka si Agent Calilong, may mga attachment ho kasi nung first affidavit na hindi napansin ng prosecutor. So
That's your answer. Okay. So, but the thing is, if I let's go back to the IDF, investigation data form. Now, the docket number that is indicated here is XVI INV 25C-0008. But in the Feb 5 2025 certification, can we flash that? The docket number is different, appears to be different. It's XVI eval INV 25A-0049. Moreover, in the subsequent DOJ certification dated Feb 14, 2025, the docket number is also XVI-INV-25A-0049. Do you confirm the difference in the docket numbers?
Your Honor, no personal knowledge and DOJ ho ang naglagay ng docket number na yan.
But do you confirm that it was different? These are all received copies.
Ask and answer, Your Honor, please. Ask and answer, argumentative.
No, the question, the answer is
Ask
not
and answer,
responsive.
Counsel. Move on.
So in other words, despite the discrepancy in numbers, you still decided to push through with the case.
What, Your Honor?
Despite the discrepancy in docket numbers, you still decided to push through with the handling of this case, correct?
Again, I cannot confirm on the numbers because it's the DOJ who placed that number, sir. Ulitin ko ho, mas maganda ho tanungin nyo ang Department of Justice, sir. Chan.
But insofar as you are concerned, as the you are the complainant in this case, correct? Insofar as you are concerned, what is the correct docket number? Is it the one ending in 0049?
I will now object.
Or
I will
is
now
it the
object.
one ending in 0048? What they used, Your Honor?
I will now object on the ground of misleading. You showed two docket numbers which appear different. And you have yet to establish that there is a wrong one and a correct one. And you have not established that. This witness said he is not aware of that. You have not established that there is something to be corrected. That's why the objection now, Your Honor, please. That's misleading. You assume that something is wrong that has to be corrected. Misleading.
Counsel, witness is not competent to answer your question. He already responded. that this is a DOJ form, that he is not aware, and that it might be proper to ask the DOJ instead at the proper time. Move on with another point, Counsel. I think we've unless there's another inconsistency, you can move on to another inconsistency or another point.
Your Honor, just one last on this point. But in terms of what you followed, because as we know, you submit subsequent pleadings as to these two docket numbers. Which one did you follow? The 00048 or the 0049?
Well, I don't have the record here, Your Honor. If I can check my own record.
Do you have it with
Can you
you
do
now?
that now?
Counsel, can you give him a copy of his record?
Yung full record. Tingnan ko. Yeah.
The chair finds that relevant because in filing additional pleadings or other materials to the DOJ, they need to indicate the NPS number for reference. So which one are you following? Which one did you follow subsequent to this?
Yes, sir. February. Wala rito ah. Ito ba? Well, wala ho rito, sir. Teka. Ang naalala ko, sir, yung sa investigation data form, dated February 11.
Ano pong nakalagay na NPS docket number doon? Meron po ba?
Yun po, sir, ang hindi ko, Your Honor, hindi ko po ma-confirm kung anong NPS docket number. Ito ba yun? Teka, saan ang NPS ito?
Your Honor, may we just manifest for the record that the witness is perusing the IDF investigation data form that is attached to the articles of impeachment, Annex G9.
So noted.
Well, this is the document from the defense, Your Honor. I cannot confirm, Your Honor. As of the
Move on,
moment, I
Counsel.
cannot confirm.
But this is as received, correct? So in other words, you just received the document and you didn't bother to...
Argumentative.
To check.
Objection.
Counsel, let him finish, but indeed it is argumentative. Move on to the next question, Counsel. With the permission of Senator Judge Tulfo, are you winding up or not yet, Counsel? Not yet?
Far from it, Your Honor.
Then Senator Judge Tulfo is recognized. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Tulfo?
Just manifestation.
You may proceed, sir.
Presiding Judge. And question as well. Mr. Witness,
You have 2 minutes.
okay. Mr. Witness, a lot of questions were asked to you regarding the filing with the Office of the DOJ, in particular, regarding the docketing, dating, subscription for an investigation data form. Now, can you tell this court what exactly is your role and what did you do in relation to the filing of this investigation data form? Ano yung pinaka-role mo talaga dito?
I
Yung
instruct,
papel mo talaga rito?
yes, Your Honor, I instructed the executive officers as well as the agent on case to file our referral to the Department of Justice. So sila na ho ang nag-ayos niyan, sir, insofar as the investigation data form, insofar as other requirements. Ang instruction ko is comply with the requirement given by the Department of Justice, and then you submit it, and then kung ano yung kanilang guidance, you comply with it.
Okay, Mr. Presiding Judge, in my humble opinion, I think the errors in the investigation data form should be answered by the receiving office, and I think he's not And I mean, hindi siya talaga yung dapat sumagot sa mga katanungan na ibinabato sa kanya ngayon. Mukhang hindi siya really that qualified at sumasablay-sablay itong taon to. Thank you.
Noted. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, thereafter Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
Quick question, Mr. Presiding Officer, to the witness and
You
to
have 2
the
minutes, sir.
prosecution or prosecutor here. Mr. Witness, kailan mo ba talaga finale itong kaso laban kay VP?
Yung una na affidavit po, Your Honor, nag-file kami January 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Taon po, anong taon?
2025, sir.
2025.
And then nag-require po ang Department of Justice ng compliance dahil sabi nga nila nung una na certification insufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and must be referred for a case build-up. Now, ang ginawa po namin, kinumply po namin yung kanilang mga requirements. And then, come 11 February 2025, niresubmit po namin yung aming affidavit of investigation, Your Honor.
Nasaan na po itong kaso? Naisampa na po ba ng DOJ o hindi pa?
I think ongoing po ang preliminary investigation.
1 year, preliminary. 1 year, over 1 year. January to January is 1, February, March, April, May, June, July. Is that normal for the DOJ to conduct a preliminary about over a year, Mr. Witness?
Di ko po masasagot, sir.
Hindi
Sorry
ninyo
po.
masagot.
Sa
Could
DOJ
it be, hindi po kayo nagtatanong sa kanila, Sir, ano problema? Bakit hindi po pa naisasampa sa korte yung aming isinampang kaso dito sa inyo? Hindi ko kayo nagtataka?
Ang alam ko, sir, Your Honor
No, hindi kayo nagtanong po sa kanila kung bakit? May kulang pa po ba DOJ? Ano po ang kakulangan?
Pag ang referral po, Your Honor, is nasa DOJ na, hands off na ho kami doon. Sila ho ang magde-decide noon kung paano nila ipoprocess yung dokumento.
Kaya nga, hindi po kayo nagtataka. Hindi kaya, sir, dito sa mga nakita po natin mga ebidensya rito, mukhang sablay-sablay, parang minadali ho ninyo. Ay kaya, nagkakaproblema ho tayo sa mga korte natin na i-dismiss sa mga kaso dahil kulang ang mga dokumento at parang minadali. But nevertheless, you don't have to answer me that. Let me direct my question now to the prosecutors. Mr. Prosecutor,
Yes.
ito po mga ebidensya na nakita ho natin, hindi pa ninyo ni-review na may mga nakita, hindi nyo nakita itong inconsistencies. Doon nga po sa sinasabi ng defense na pinirmahan, sinubscribe, pero mas maaga yung pagtanggap.
Your Honor, as to whether we perused that, Your Honor, please. Unfortunately, we were not party to the preparation of this.
No, but this was
documents.
submitted
Yes, Your Honor.
as evidence, right?
Yes, Your
Correct.
Honor, please. Yes, Your Honor, please. That's why this
Pero-
witness is more than competent to answer that.